In today's world of fierce competition, what do organizations do to manage their talent? What do employees do to contribute their best towards organization's success story? How do organizations effectively engage with their employees? Welcome to the very special session of People Plus. I'm Ambika Chaturvedi, and joining us today are very special panelists. We have today Mr. Olvin Borden, CEO and President Essar Projects, Sujya Banerjee, Chief Learning Officer at Essar Group, Aprup Sen Gupta, MD and Global CEO, Aegis. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
All of me going to start the discussion with you. There are recent studies which says that there are definitely a correlation between the highly engaged workforce and the business productivity. We want to know your take on that. Do you think engaged workforce today is a business imperative and it does have an impact on the productivity?
Okay, that made it sound very technical. Actually, it's not technical at all, I don't think. I think if you think back to home life or you're doing sport or something, you're really committed to what you're doing. You know what it is that you have to do. You work together to make it happen. Why can't that happen in the workplace all the time? I think that's what we're talking about when we talk about an engaged workforce. We're looking for some environment where everybody feels that they're contributing, feels that their contribution is felt by the group as well, and they want to be there and they want to deliver for it. Then the other place you really see this is in startup businesses, in small businesses, and you have to ask yourself, I think, is why can you have that in a small business? You don't have it in a big business. And I think the reason is that in a small business it's very easy to communicate down what is required. And the workforce understands what everyone's trying to achieve, and they also understand that their own future is intricately linked with the future of the people that are running that business. When we become a large business like our business, it's not so easy for that to happen. The senior management is a long way away or very high up. So the process of making everybody feel as though that environment still exists despite the increase in scale of the company is what we're talking about, I think, when we're referring to employee engagement. And the reasons why you need it is because if employees don't feel like they're part of the process, then they're not going to be working as hard. They're not going to be using their skills to the benefit of the company. If they don't think they're being recognized, they're not going to do anything to be recognized. So you have to try and bring out those attributes that you see in the smaller business and bring it to the larger business. The benefits you'll get from it is bigger productivity, obviously. The employees will want to stay with the company, they'll believe in the company, and overall you'll get better performance out of the company.
I'm going to get you in Aprup at this point of time. Aegis have been ranked as 25th the best places to work in the Youth survey very recently, about last year. What's your take on that? Did you see an impact on the business productivity? Do you think that it's really making a difference in terms of how the business is delivering its results?
Being the top 25 is an outcome, so it's basically an external recognition of what we did. But what we did was very interesting. I mean, at Aegis we have a workforce of 60,000 people globally with 77 nationalities. We work in 19 countries, and more than 50% of our workforce are not Indians, though being an Indian company. So that's the ecosystem that we inherited. We came up with a very simple idea that our HR value proposition or employee value proposition that we have articulated is get, set, go, which means we will do everything to get you in Aegis, which is the entire talent acquisition side, and create that brand and the aura. And set is we will set people up for success. Success in their career, success in their learning and development, success in opportunities, and we'll set them up. And then go is go places. Either within Aegis, that means you grow within Aegis. There are people who have been agents, from there they've become vice presidents. Or you go places as a brand ambassador of Aegis and work for a different company. But that's the underlying philosophy and principle which was applied, and we created a culture which is a very enabling culture. And we believe that engagement is nothing but being contextually relevant to the expectation that the employee needs. The cardinal mistake that most corporations make is that they think engagement is a repository of activities that needs to be done without understanding the context. But if you understand the context and align your activities and engagements around that, I think it creates a great enterprise. It shows in the productivity, it shows in the culture. So you create that whole environment that Alvin said is this element of joy and fun. So if you are spending large part of your awakened hours in the workplace and you sleep for 8 hours, let's say, so better make it home, I mean, and create that culture. So that's what we did. And that was resonated in our productivity, in our growth, in our profitability.
So just sometimes, very important sound bites from you being a subject matter experts. Sometimes the business profitability translates for employees higher rewards. What role do you think a compensation has to play in employee engagement? Is it a very integral part of the employee engagement?
So I think I have two parts to my answer on this. I think the whole concept of engagement, and you've just seen two line managers give you their perspective, which is really literally simplifying the whole mystique around engagement. I think it's kind of this whole business of employees come to work for pay forms the basis of the employer-employee relationship. So I don't think there is any ambiguity on that. And I don't think there should be any embarrassment associated with that either, because it forms the basis of the employer-employee relationship. But to therefore presume that that's the reason why people stay and that's the reason why people strive is actually, oversimplifying the whole concept of engagement in an adverse way. I think that that's the first part of my answer, which is really to say, pay is the basis, but it's not necessarily the only reason why people come to work. It's for both the employee and the employer to be able to bring in the passion and the purpose to be able to make this a more meaningful journey together. I think this answer will be incomplete if I didn't draw back from a research that was done by Corporate Executive Board, which clearly looked at particularly Gen Y, which constitutes over 55% of the workforce today. And this is not only to do with ITES or IT. No matter which industry you're looking at, you have large numbers of people who are young. We ourselves in Essar have 62% of our workforce below the age of 35. So we're talking about very young people who have very high aspirations to grow. And the talent dynamics, meanwhile, in the market have changed, creating multiple opportunities for people. And therefore, we're no more in a situation where people don't have a choice. So if the employer does not deliver what he promises to deliver, people will find someplace else which will deliver on those propositions. And they looked at them and they looked at people who stayed inside organization. They looked at compensation for these people. It's benchmarks in the external market, and they found in 81% of the cases, the people who'd had tenures exceeding 5 years, Gen Y, exceeding 5 years, 81% of the cases they could have earned more if they'd moved to another job.
Thank you all. That was a very interesting discussion. Thank you all for taking your time out. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.